Ancient traditional arts have always fascinated me, but this one is almost stuck to my life. The columns. Every morning at sunrise and sometimes at sunset, Tamil women clear the ground in front of their houses and draw a kolam, a pattern of dots and lines using rice or rock powder. An ancient tradition that is symbol of welcome, good energy, and one that is handed down from generation to generation. Columns are directly drawn on floor or earth without any measuring tools. The dots are laid down first in evenly spaced grids. Lines either weave around the dots or create one or more closed loops to connect them. Columns could be simple or complex, and sometimes include images of flowers, leaves, and conches. On special occasions, columns are filled with colored powders or drawn with wet rice flour. Today is Varalakshmi Puja, and Chitraka is busy coloring her columns.
ஊர் வந்து ஒரு கிராமம், மதுரை பக்கம் ஒரு கிராமம். அந்த கிராமத்தில் எல்லாருமே போட்டாகணும். ஏன்னா அப்போ பழக்கம் வந்து அந்த மாதிரி அம்மாங்க அப்படி தான் பழக்கினாங்க. வாசல் தெளித்து காலையில் எழுந்திரிச்சு வாசல் கூட்டி வாசல் தெளித்து கோலம் போட்டாகணும். அப்போ உள்ள அது பழக்கம் அப்படி தான். ஒவ்வொருத்தரும் நம்ம கோலத்தை பார்த்து பார்த்து சொல்லும் போது அந்த இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் வந்துருச்சு. கோலம் நல்லா இருக்குதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. நம்ம போகும்போது வரும்போதெல்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்க கோலம் நல்லா இருக்குது அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது, அப்போ நம்மளுக்குள்ளேயே டிசைனான கோலம் விதவிதமாக போடலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி தோணும்போது அப்படி.
Traditional columns is an eco-friendly art form created using rice powder and rock powder. The rice powder serves as food for insects, bugs, and birds, often called as Sahasrabhojanam or feeding 1,000 mouths. Columns are steeped with philosophy and life lessons. The dots are said to represent challenges in life, and if one can weave their way around them and get back to the starting point while still maintaining some kind of symmetry, they can come across all hurdles. I could understand different dimensions to this columns in personal and growing level, talking to the famous column practitioner Srimati Hema Kannan. She's a TEDx speaker and has made it her mission to share this ephemeral art form to spread positivity. Is that inspiration for you to go to any extent to make this possible? Taking it to the public. It's not small. It's not a small number. Around 80K followers in Instagram. You have given talks in TEDx. So, to what extent? I mean, even when I heard you introduce yourself, you said you're a homemaker first, and then you introduce yourself as an artist. But what was the process? What was the inspiration for you to take it, give all that you have to make this popular?
As I say, my inspiration for kolam making was Amma, of course, because she, as you said, believes it to be a regular chore that you get up in the morning and you do it. That's how she was brought up. After she was in the deep south village and all that. When she came to Maharashtra, she still continued that tradition. She taught me. I liked the geometry behind it. I enjoyed drawing it. But after, you get married and you're living in an apartment, your kids are there, you find a lot of excuses to not do it. But Amma still continues. She's now 75 almost, and she still does columns. So about 10 years ago, when I saw this happening, I said, what is my excuse? Why am I not doing that? So with her as inspiration, I started making columns. But what made me take it further was, once I started making columns, I saw a change within it. I realized, one, that I can express myself through the columns. I can tell stories. And whatever I'm trying to say, people are also able to read. I'm able to reach hearts. So this is just like another art form. It's not just a simple drawing on the floor like a morning ritual and you're done with it. It's much more than that. That's the experience I've had. And this is the experience I need to share it with people, because it gives you a lot of growth inside. It brings a lot of stability in your life and so many changes within you. So this is something that I should not keep it to myself, I told. And that's why the social media was a big help.
Exactly is the philosophy behind Kolam?
Philosophy is letting go, creating,
Mm.
uh, should I say, creation, destruction, recreating that circle. What happens is you spend probably at least half an hour a day making a column. At least
Right.
sometimes when I'm making big ones, it goes to an hour, a couple of hours. You make a column, but you're not making it permanent. It takes the space for about just 24 hours. And you have to erase it yourself. You'll have to let it go yourself. In case you've protected it from having been stepped over, or the sweeper or the housekeeping here at the apartment,
Apartment.
you don't learn to clean it up, then you have to yourself do it. You have to destroy, you have to remove it, because you know you're going to create something new in its place. And your heart is just letting it go. So this is one biggest philosophy or the biggest life lesson that one learns with this art
Philosophy
form.
of impermanence, isn't it? Usually, when they
Yes,
say
very much.
women get out and put the column, what is the physical implication for a woman who
So
does that?
her entire simple process of making a column evolves and revolves around her physical activity of bending, her yoga, her thought process, her what more can I say? Her economics, um, her plan for the day, everything that she can bring it all to one point and work it out all out. Even if it is a small problem that she's having, she's just working it all out. It's like unentangle, or removing the tangles from her
Right.
life as she
Mhm.
does the colon. All that happens at that one particular simple art form that she does early in the morning. It clears her head completely. So it is a beautiful activity for the start of the day.
So, the fact I cannot, I'm not sure whether I can still call it a fact because it's still in a research process of strengthening the nervous system of a human.
Instead of saying the nervous system, let's start with just basic coordination, because it's your
Mhm.
hand, mind, body, eyes, all that
Right.
coordination with your brain. So it's the best activity when you're doing something so early. Your eye hand coordination, your brain eye hand coordination, everything is developed with this. Is, as they say, if you're playing a ping
Mm-hmm.
pong ball game, and that helps in coordination because you see the ball coming and then you've got to do it. It's much more than that. They ask you to do a particular art form to be able to do this and improve your coordination that way. So it's column making is also in one sense that kind of activity which helps in your body and mind, or brain and body coordination. So that actually I would say strengthens sleep.
But then if it can coordinate so much between the mind and the body, then shouldn't it be taught to all gender across, irrespective of being a
Absolutely.
woman?
Absolutely. It should be. It should be. That is why I try to, tell people it is not gender oriented, and anyone should be able to do it. It's not just limited to the feminine. It will help the males, because I find that, uh, to think and multitask, for men, it is a little difficult to have that stability or the sense of there's a nice Hindi word for
Mhm.
they say tehra, where you have the uh, where you stop for a moment. You don't keep racing around. You're not thinking of 10 things at the same time. You stop for a moment, where like a meditation. That is something, it's very rare in men, because they're always running around. They think they have got to earn the livelihood or whatever, and there are certain activities. Thankfully, the new generation is not that way now. They want to do everything, but somehow men have not started exploring columns. I don't know why. basically, I think they are the losers if they're not trying it. I certainly hope every male also realizes how beneficial this activity is.
What I find with kids is they're more interested in using an instrument rather than using the hand, because that seems very colorful. They find this very difficult, have to practice. So, as parents, what can we do to make our children interested in this art?
Uh, I think the first thing you've got to do is teach them that colors is not everything. Your brain also to work, not just your visuals. It has to be coming from within your brain. Even when I take my workshop, when I teach poems, I do not bring in colors into my lessons till I have at least gone through the process of basics and a little bit more, about 3 or 4 classes later into it. And it just comes in one class. It does not come as something very colorful. It's only in the last class that I bring in a lot of colors into my poem. So it's more of geometry, more of math, more of how you can explore your creativity with just a singular color, with just your fingers. I don't even teach with any instruments. Right. So that is one thing about colors. And the second thing to interest them is to make it, nowadays children would like to know the logic behind certain things. Right. If you tell them to do something, they'll always ask. Nowadays, even the smallest of thing you ask them to do, they need to know the reason. So they need to know to explore why they need to explore something. So you got to make this interesting to them. Even if you're just making it with white colors, if you're making it with a powder, if you're using just your fingers, you need to explain why. And you need to keep them interested by connecting it to whatever they are interested in. Suppose a child is more interested in math and geometry, then you connect it to math and geometry. If the child is more interested in something scientific, astronomy, astrology, then you connect it to astronomy. If something is in the child is interested in just the logical part of it, then you make it a little bit more logical and explain it to the child.
There are various research going on to understand the mathematics behind Kolam. The National Council for Teachers of Mathematics has even released papers on teaching mathematics through the art of Kolam. Kolams are said to have the fractal property, where fractal property does not depend on scale and is resizable. Kolams are often drawn parallel with dual graphs. The dual graphs often allows us to look into properties of a graph from another point of view, just like the columns, which additionally shed lights on mathematical properties of graph themselves. Kolams are no stranger to the Euler's circuit. The Euler's circuit is basically a circuit that uses every edge in a graph with no repeats. Being a circuit, it must start and end at the same vertex.
கோலம் போடுறதுனால ஒரு நல்ல எக்ஸசைஸு, யோகா பண்ணுற ஃபீலே வருவாங்க. கோலம் போடுறதுனால நல்லா நமக்கு குனிஞ்சு போடுறதுனால ரத்த ஓட்டம் நல்லாயிருக்கும், பாடிக்கு ஃபேஸ் நல்லாயிருக்கும், பிரைட்டாக இருக்குதும். அப்பளுக்கு நிறைய ஐடியாஸ் தோணும் நம்மளுக்கு. சின்ன சின்ன கோலம் போட்டுட்ருக்கும்போது நம்ம பெருசாக போடணுங்கும்போது திங்கிங் நிறைய வரும். போது சந்தோஷமாக இருக்கும், ஒரு ஹாப்பியாக இருக்கும் கோலம் போடும்போது.
Yes, the other part of that is like when you're doing such a kolam with your twists and turns, it just goes to say, enjoy your journey in your life, because in the end, it is just beautiful. It's a journey that matters, not the destination. Because once you, wherever you are at that particular point, it has to be a beautiful journey. So
is it not time for us to nurture this tradition of enriching benefits, this art of culturally embedded mathematics, neuroplasticity and philosophy to our growing kids? Let us cherish and the glory of our intelligent culture.